Okay, hello and assalamualaikum. This video will explain on learning objective number 7. So this is the last video of 8-part series. So this video will describe how to communicate information and monitor control process in the organizations. So this is the 7 components of the ERM model. Okay, so in order to understand about these components in the ERM, the information and communication, first of all, accountants must understand how the transactions are initiated, how the data are captured and converted to the machine-readable form, how the computer files are accessed and updated, how the data are processed, and also how the information is reported to the internal and external parties. Alright, as we know, the AIS has 5 primary objectives. Okay, number 1, to identify and record all the valid transactions. 2, properly classify the transaction. The third objective, record transaction at their proper monetary value. Number 4, record transaction in the proper accounting period. And the last objective is to properly present the transactions and related disclosure in the financial statements. So they have 3 principles that could apply to the information and communication process. The first principle, they need to obtain or generate relevant high quality information to support the internal control. Okay, and then the second principle that need to apply is internally communicate the information, objectives and responsibility to support other components of the internal control. And the third principle is they need to communicate relevant internal control matters to the external parties. Okay, and then the last one, the 8th component, is monitoring. Okay, so the monitoring part is the internal control system that is selected and developed. They have must have continuously monitored, evaluated and modified as needed. So the monitoring can be accomplished with a series of ongoing events or by separate evaluations. So we're going to discuss 10 methods, okay, to monitor the performance, okay, of monitoring performance. Okay, the first one is to perform internal control evaluation. So they can measure the effectiveness of the ERM through the formal evaluation or through self-assessment process. So they can assign special group, okay, that can be assembled to conduct this evaluation, and also it can be done by the internal auditing. Okay. Okay, the second method of monitoring, they can do implement effective supervision. It can involve training, assisting the employees, okay, monitor their performance, do the correcting errors, safeguard assets by overseeing the employees with access. Okay, this is especially important to the organization without responsibility reporting or an adequate segregation of duties. Okay, so if they example, the companies don't have the procedure on the adequate segregation of duties, so they need to have the supervision to supervise the activities. Okay, then the third methods of monitoring is they use the responsibility accounting system. So this include budget, schedule, standard cost, quality standards. Okay, then also can use the performance report, whereby this report they can compare actual with planned performance, and they will highlight any variances, okay, that incurred during the between the actual and plan. And then the procedure for investigating the significant variance also must take place, okay, and taking timely action to correct any adverse conditions. Alright, and then the next methods, okay, monitor system activities. They can use the risk analysis and management software. Okay, so this software package available to review the computer and network security measures. The software also can detect any illegal entry to the system. They can test for the weaknesses and vulnerabilities of the system. Okay, and also they can give reports any weaknesses found, and they can also suggest the improvements. So they can use the software, okay, to do all this risk analysis. The software also available to monitor and combat virus, spyware, spam, pop-up ads to prevent browser from the being hijacked. Okay, and also they can record the transaction activities. Okay, that we call log. So in the log they can record the system transaction activities, and also the log can indicate who access what data, when, and from which terminal. So this they can monitor if they have any unusual events, threat. Okay, so they can monitor through the log. And then the next monitoring methods, okay, they can use the Business Software Alliance, BSA. So this BSA actually they can aggressively track down and fines companies who violate the software license agreements. Okay, so this is more to the they want to ensure the companies are comply with the copyrights. Okay, so the company therefore should periodically conduct the software audits to ensure that there are enough license for all the users, and the company is not paying for more license than needed. They also can do the mobile device, okay, to track the mobile device, okay, and monitor the mobile device, who has the device, what tasks they perform, and also the security features that installed in the mobile device. So it can be done by the Business Software Alliance to do the monitoring part. Okay, then the next one, to monitor risks, they conduct the periodic audits. Okay, the periodic audits, they can monitor risks and detect the fraud and errors. So they do the periodic external audits, internal audits, okay, special network security audits, and also involve the internal auditing. So the internal audit, they do review the reliability and integrity of the financial and opening information, evaluate the internal control effectiveness, assessing the employees' compliance with the policy and procedure. Okay, and also the internal auditing must be independent of the accounting and operating functions. Okay, then the next one, they can employ the computer security officer and the chief compliance officer. So this computer security officer, they can oversee the AIS security, and they have to make sure the CSO are independent of the IS function, and they should report to the COO or CEO of the company, meaning they should report directly to the top management. Then engage forensic specialists. So these forensic accountants, okay, they can hire the forensic accountants that specialize in the fraud detection investigation. Okay, because most of the forensic accountants that CPAs, they have special training, okay, with the FBI, CIA, and so on. So this is more at the US punya situation. So this computer forensic specialist, okay, can also be hired to assist in discovering, extracting, safeguarding, and documenting the computer evidence, so that its authenticity, the accuracy, integrity will not succumb to the legal challenges. Okay, alright, the second last methods of monitoring, they can install fraud detection software. So this software, they can detect patterns, okay, because people who commit fraud tend to follow certain patterns and leave clues behind. So it can be discovered by the fraud detection software. Then the company also can employ neural networks. So this is the programming, actually, the program that can mimic the brain and have learning capabilities, which are very accurate in identifying the suspected fraud. Okay, so this is more kepada artificial intelligence lah, actually, alright, to detect the fraud. Okay, then the last methods of monitoring the performance, they can implement a fraud hotline. Okay, so this fraud hotline is more to the people who witness fraudulent behavior. Okay, because the fraudulent behavior are often torn between the conflicting feelings. They want to protect the company asset and report fraud perpetrator, but they are uncomfortable in whistleblower role and find it easier to remain silent. Okay, so they are particularly reluctant to report if they know of others who have suffered repercussion from doing so. So in the Sarbanes-Oxley Act, they mandates that companies set up the mechanism for employees to anonymously report the fraud and abuses. So they can implement the fraud hotline. So the fraud hotline is the effective way to comply with the laws and resolve the whistleblower conflicts. Okay, so this is the 10 methods of monitoring the performance, and that's the last component actually, okay, that we discuss under ERM model ataupun ERM framework. Okay, so with that, that's the end of the chapter 7. So I end this video. Thank you.